Hey, what's up? Mr. Toffee here from Kakuchopurei. The first half of 2021 is over and done with, so I figured we'd ask each and every one of our gaming editorial and content creating pals in Malaysia, Singapore, and Southeast Asia about what their favorite games of 2021 is. Either it's like 1 or 2 or 3, think of it more like a sanity check of sorts I'm doing with everyone that we know. So here with me is Aloysius Low, co-founder of Can Buy or Not, a new tech site that's all about awesome tech under 2 minutes. Maybe you want to elaborate a bit more since you created the site?
So, Can Buy or Not is a very different kind of review site. We only publish one review a day. And because we don't really believe in spamming a reader with tons of stories a day because they can't make that decision, we really want to help them drill down, focus, and understand what's good about a product so that they can actually make that buying decision straight away. So, we really don't believe in long-ass multi-page reviews. So if you like or you write those, I'm really sorry, but no offense. Nobody got time for that, yeah?
Definitely. We've got like other big sites for that, but you definitely hit a very unique niche right there. Now, of course, you also review a little bit of games here and there. I think you did something on Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart and Returnal 2, right? And then that Iron Man game that came out.
Yeah.
Was it this year or last year? I forgot.
And we're actually publishing another Mass Effect Legendary Edition tomorrow.
Nice.
We are very slow, no apologies. But sometimes, there's really no need to rush because certain games, you have to get it straight away, certain games you don't. For Mass Effect Legendary Edition, you can take your time because it's really 3 games, right?
Yeah, 3 games in one, all good.
Yeah. I'm still stuck halfway through the third game. Yeah, I think, and halfway through the third game, I sped through 1 and 2. I've not really played 3 before because I kind of gave it a miss when all the bad press came out about it a few years back. So I'm taking my time with 3, but I can understand where all that bad press about 3 is coming from.
Yeah, true that. But all in all, I remember Mass Effect Legendary Edition, like the first game actually got like a retooling, like the game engine has to be changed up a bit. Would you say that would warrant enough as like one of your favorite games of 2021, or?
In fact, yes, I was gonna go there. It's actually one of my favorite games in 2021. I mean, it's a big nostalgic boost for older gamers like me. I mean, I played it when I was much younger, so getting to play it again with the higher res graphics, the slightly tweaked gameplay that feels a bit more modern, and then they changed the leveling system as well for Mass Effect 1, and it really makes sense, and you get to save the galaxy all over again. So, and I guess the really one thing I like about it is that there's so much replayability, and if you really want a challenge, you can up the difficulty. I didn't know I was actually playing on casual for a while for Mass Effect 3. I was like, why is this so easy? Then I realized that for some weird reason, they changed the difficulty level to the lowest when I put it at the highest or some shit. So
Okay, that is strange. How did that happen?
yeah, it's a weird bug. So I actually just upped it around. I was like, oh wow, I keep dying now. That's why.
Crap. So what are the changes you appreciate more in the Legendary Edition of this game?
I think the main important thing is the better graphics for the first game, right? And I think the second game also got a little bit of a bump. I'm not too sure about that. I have to double check. But the third game is where I think the Legendary Edition benefits kick in. You don't have the multiplayer anymore. You're not forced to play the multiplayer games just to get that certain point range that you need for completing the game. It's all built in now, and then you can enjoy the story for what it is. And I think that's really the strength of the Mass Effect series, right? It's the story, the build up, the epic space opera scenario that you've been building up over the last decade, but in actual fact, because it's 3 games in one, the last week or so, yeah.
And unlike last time, you don't have to wait like years
for
the sequel to come out. You can just play it at one go.
Straight away, right.
Or dedicate the last 6 months of this year to finishing the entire game and all of this.
And the fun thing about that is you get very irritated when they start doing recaps of like, hey, you remember this? Yeah, it was just like a few hours ago.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it was a few years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Any other games you want to bring up, or like, because there's actually quite a number of titles that came out. Like either it's like indie small titles or even AAA stuff.
I don't know if you consider Returnal AAA or indie small title because of how the studio works.
I'd say
right?
half.
Half, right? But Returnal has been an amazing experience for me. I came into the game not expecting anything. I mean, I played Hades. I love Hades to death. When they said Returnal was a roguelike, like similar like Hades, I was like, okay, sure. It's nowhere similar, right? Firstly, it's fully 3D, so you have multiple platforms to work with, different angles. They can attack you from above as well and behind and whatnot. And you can't see it because you're playing it almost in first person. I mean, it's a third person view.
Yeah,
but
third person. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So and the difficulty level is insane, right? I basically died non-stop for the first 2 hours, right? And then once you figure that out, you start okay, oh right, and then that everything clicks, right? And then you start figuring out. And I think the hardest part of Returnal is actually the third boss. And once you clear that hump, the game is ridiculously easy. Because you basically have figured out most of the mechanics you need to understand and play the game. And so it's a reason why I think that's my favorite game so far for the year. Even over Mass Effect Legendary Edition, because of how simple it is to play, but how difficult it is to master. And once you get there, then you feel that sense of accomplishment that this shit is good. Yeah.
What's like your favorite setup? What's the go-to weapon you would pick if you want like a decent run?
It's been a while since I touched the game, so there's this there's actually any gun will do. I used to use the one that basically shoots out like little strings, pylons. I can't remember what they're called, and then it would attach, and then you'll start doing like arcs all over the place. It basically melts everything in like 1 second. So basic. Okay, so that gun is pretty cool. It's like a conduit. It shoots out little spikes that you can attach to walls or the monsters, and then it does like little arcs of damage in between the lines. So if you lay it out carefully, you can just shoot from afar and just what you call hamchi all the way.
Do you also appreciate like the lighting diarrhea and the diodes popping out when you fire guns and when you see enemy bullets coming out your way?
I mean, it really makes full use of the PS5. The caveat to that is I don't know how much, because you can't actually see the resources being used. But it really takes advantage of the better hardware of the PS5 to really light up the environment. And one thing Returnal does so well is that you need to play with a headset.
Yes,
right? It takes advantage of the PS5's spatial sound to give that whole vibe and experience. When you step in the new diode, you hear the rain sprinkling down, then your the DualSense, right? DualSense controller it's doing little tippy taps as the rain hits you, and then as you fully press or half press your triggers, because now you can do that, right? It gives that whole super immersive experience that you almost think like you're doing a whole VR thing, but it's not, because you're still watching a television screen. But the sound, the game controller experience, it's so immersive. It's ridiculous.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice you actually picked some really good titles that I really need to sit down and play.
You really need to play Returnal.
Yeah.
You really need to play Returnal.
Definitely. I've been a fan of House Mark's work, so yeah, I just need to find some time, and also a PlayStation 5.
I managed to get one, yeah. So
nice.
Lucky.
Lucky you. It's like a raffle, basically.
It's all luck, man.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about like stuff that's going to be coming out in the next few months before we wrap up the show. Now, I'm sure you've seen E3, you've seen like all these different expos, presentations online. Like, is there any like particular game or two that you really want to buy or play in the next 6 months, like from July all the way to maybe early January of next year?
Okay. So the fun fact is, I actually watched it and I found everything quite boring.
Okay, thought so.
Okay. Yeah.
Even the PC gaming show?
Yeah. But I did find one or two games that really caught my eye, and I think the first one is The World Ends With You Neo Edition.
Neo, The World Ends With You.
Neo, The World Ends With You, right? And that's coming on the Switch, which I'm glad. Oh, do you hear about this? I'm sorry if I'm just jumping topics, but you heard about the whole new
OLED
Switch?
Switch, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, people were expecting like a high-powered Switch when Nintendo basically did not say jack.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah,
so
they didn't say
people's
jack.
expectations were like this. Nintendo was like, we didn't say anything, right? So people are pretending to be insiders here and there. It's a really weird job, but you know what? For people who don't have a Switch, I'm happy they can buy this version because it's super clear screen. But
Yeah.
I'm actually more curious about the battery life, whether it's like a little bit
it should
improved
be
or
better.
the same. I really hope it's improved, dude, because I've been playing.
It's using the Switch Lite's chipset, right? Or the newer improved chipset.
I think it's a newer chip improved set, but I have not seen any basic specs on my emails on the website.
Okay, so if I remember correctly, it's probably using the newer improved hardware that launched with the second generation of the Switch. So that's actually a lot better battery life in the first place.
Okay,
Now,
that's
if you take on an OLED screen, that's going to be even better as well, because OLEDs tend to use less power compared to the LCDs that the current Switches are using.
I see some like shit posting where basically people are comparing this to PS Vita from years ago.
They aren't that far off.
I know.
Okay,
That's
anyway,
true,
yeah,
so.
yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
Okay, so back to topic.
Neo,
Yes,
22.
Neo. 22. Really loved the first game on the DS. I played that to shits, and I really loved the music and the whole Shibuya setup. In fact, the fun thing was when I actually went to Shibuya for my first time. After playing the game, I was like, "Holy crap! I know this place so well."
It's almost identical, right?
Right. So I'm definitely looking forward to Neo, The War Ends With You, and the other game is not so new. It's actually a remaster. I'm a big fan of remasters these days. Diablo 2 Resurrected.
Oh, okay. That's September, right?
Yes. So it's it's still within the time you specify, I think.
That's awesome.
And
I'm happy that it's actually coming up because I don't mind playing that game all over again with a better
of course
remastering. But for you, like, what is it the one thing you hyped up about? Like, will Blizzard make good changes or anything else?
The whole Diablo 2 economy was based around runes, right?
Yes.
And then there was a whole like third party chat rooms where you could, official chat in the chat system where you could go and buy runes from traders, right? I'm not sure how they're going to bring that system over, whether they'll do another auction house fiasco. That's it. You'll remember Diablo 3.
Oh, me too.
Right. But runes are going to be a vital part of the economy for sure, and it's going to be interesting to see how Blizzard handles that. Even if they
don't forget the new Blizzard.
Right. The Blizzard, right. I hope I'm not offending anybody. But I'm definitely looking forward to buying and playing the game again, not only because of nostalgia, but I think that game has a lot more longevity compared to Diablo 3 at the moment, which I also played to death, and I occasionally will hop back on a later season just to see what's the changes, and but the gameplay of Diablo 2 is, I would argue, and most people might agree or disagree, that it's actually a lot better and more challenging. Yeah.
I would actually agree with you on that because I played both games on equal terms and equal timings, and I do miss, all the weird grotesque stuff that happens in part 2 compared to part 3. But again, I love them in different ways. I'm also curious as how the part 2 will control on the controller. I'm actually very curious. Everything,
especially since it's coming out on consoles as well. I'm not sure if they'll get that experience right. And I played Diablo 3 on both
the
PC
console
and
version and the PC.
On the consoles as well. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. And only one thing I hate, and I hope they fix, is Act 3 of Diablo 2, which I hate to death. Or was it Act 2? I don't know. I just remember there was one act that I couldn't stand, and because it was so tedious to get through. It's probably Act 2.
The length. I remember Act 2 being very lengthy.
Yes.
But then,
and especially the mazes that the arcane labyrinth or something.
I think it's part 2.
Yeah, it's part 2.
Act 2. Yes.
It's probably Act 2. Yeah.
Actually, I'm surprised. Did you hear about the Masters of Magic remastering? I think it's either this year or next year. I kind of forgot. I thought that would be under your radar, I guess.
I've been on and off Master of Magic, just to, there've been so many remakes over the years, and I'm ashamed to confess I bought almost all of them just to try them out.
That's fine. It's a really good game. Yes.
No. I mean all the remakes of Master of Magic, right?
Okay.
Right, and they're all not very good, or they're nowhere close to the actual Master of Magic. So I'm a big fan of Master of Magic. I played that to bits when I was a teenager. I still actually downloaded it. I actually bought it on Good Old Games, and then I installed a DOS emulator on my iPad, so I could play that game, and it works really fine. So I can actually play it while I'm about to sleep, and but after you beat it once, you're like, okay, I'm done. I can't figure it out again. So I'm actually looking forward to a remake to see what it brings to the genre. A lot of the times, the people that develop these remakes try too hard, or they don't really capture the feel of the game, and because there's a lot of IP issues that they have to skirt around, right?
Yeah, a lot.
So it's not the same experience, right? And I know stuff like War of Magic. I really literally bought almost every remake, and then tried them out and I'm like, ugh. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the Master of Magic remake, and cross fingers.
Yeah, cross fingers. Hey, thanks again, Aloysius, for doing this with us. Now, any words and social media stuff you want to mention before we wrap up the episode, like the site plug? Yeah, the site plug.
Yeah. So for me, just visit canbanaut.com if you're from Singapore. From Malaysia, you feel free to visit as well. But the links won't actually bring you to the correct store links because of how geolocation works. Alternatively, you can find us on Facebook at Canbanaut as well. I'm really not one for plugs. I'm actually really doing this because I want to talk to you and talk about the games I love. So
Totally. We are gonna have another segment like that, but for the end of the year. So look forward to that.
I'll be happy to be on anytime you want.
All right, cool. All right, thanks, man. See ya.
See ya.